Hi friends, it's Julie Golding-Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, here along the tidal Scudig or St. Croix River in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada. And it's the traditional territory and current home of the Passamaquoddy. And I'm so grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. So today I have a project for you using one of the sale papers. If you weren't aware of it, I want to bring some good news to you here in this spring, almost in the summer, that a number of the Designer Series papers are on sale for 15% off, which is considerable, right through to the end of June. So I'm going to be using one of those sale papers today, and we'll be making a card with it. So I'm going to just show you this project right now and then give you a little bit of stamping news, and then within just a couple of minutes we'll be right into the project. All right, and I'd love to hear where you're from. So if you're watching today, I'd love to hear where you're from and what kind of crafting you enjoy. All right, so I am just going to flip my camera here. And here's the project that we're going to be doing today. So this is our card for today. It's a really nice, simple make, and I'm just really fond of these simple cards, especially this time of year. I don't know if it's the same with you. You can tell me in the comments. But at this time of year, I find it's really busy with the end of school and vacations starting, and all across Canada, we're all kind of transitioning into living more outdoors and doing all kinds of stuff outside instead of being indoors. And so I like these simple cards that you can make in a hurry, and you can still get your crafting in. You can still get your special occasion cards made for those birthdays and graduations and family reunions, anniversaries, all those things. It really doesn't take any fuss or very much time. Oh, hi, Kathy. I'm glad you're here today. Yeah, so this is using the beautiful sale paper. So why don't I show you what the papers look like that come with that one, because there's a number of sale papers right now. I think there's about 13 of them all together. So let me just grab that one. I thought I had it here right beside me, but apparently I was too efficient and put it away. So let me grab that. Okay, so this is called the Fresh as a Daisy paper. And as you can see from all these little pieces, I've been having some fun with it. I've been using it for all kinds of stuff. So I'll just pull out these sheets for you so you can kind of see the different patterns. So here's one of them, beautiful boho blue, and then the daisies in the foreground here. This one is another beautiful paper. Here's the one we're using today with kind of the classic daisies. And there's this one with a Cajun craze and copper clay background. Here's another kind of classic daisy with a little bit of a different look to it. These ones are more tailored looking, and these ones have a little bit more flux to them. And then there's also a really great sheet of little mini cards that you can cut out. So I've used some of them, and that's why they're cut in pieces here, but you can see there's all kinds of different things to play with. And I just find these really, really nice to work with. So this again is called the Fresh as a Daisy paper. And I'll have the links for everything I use today in my post after the broadcast today. And all the instructions for today's project will be on my website. I'll provide the link for that as well after I finish here today. So the DSP sale is what I've been talking about. So it's 15% off select, which I think is 13 different kinds of paper between now and the end of June. And I'd be delighted if you would order with me. I'd be happy to help you out with that, with any crafting needs you have. And as well, I'd be happy to gift you this June DSP special. So to go along with the sale, I have a free DSP sampler. So with any order you place with me for current product, and also any class registration, which I'll show you a little bit about later, and any color club purchase, I will gift you these 12 sheets of 6x6 paper. So here's one possibility. You might get some of these patterns, or you might get some different ones as well. But I'd be very happy to send you that when you shop with me. And to shop with me, you can go to www.juliescraftaddict.com. I've got all my classes there, which are available across Canada because they're online. And I've also got information there about how to shop with me. Other benefits of shopping, you'll get a free tutorial bundle and a free card to make as well. And this is the card of the month that you'll receive to make. So I will provide all the instructions for you. In fact, they're already on my website, and I'll cut all the pieces and send that to you, and then you can complete the card. All right, so let's see, what else have we got going on? Lots going on at the moment. There's also this terrific Starter Kit Plus deal at the moment, where if you join Stampin' Up! And my group called Creative Cafe, where I provide a monthly $15 craft class if you wish to take part, it's $206 worth of products for only $135. So you get a ton of stuff for only $135. And in most places in Canada, that $135 has no tax and there's no shipping either. So you really save a lot of money for that. So if you're curious about that, please do visit my website, juliescraftaddict.com, and click on Creative Cafe, because that's my group that you would join as well, and it tells you all the benefits there, or just shoot me off a message. I would be very happy to discuss it with you. I have one customer who's just taken advantage of this and joined our group, and we're delighted to welcome her. And in our Cross Canada team, we just have people from all over, and we'd be delighted to meet you as well. So that's the deal on through the end of June. And now just for the classes that are coming up. So there is the Boho Beach Kit class. That's coming up in August. And I have all my deadlines set 2 months ahead, just because sometimes shipping deadlines will delay things. And I just want to make sure that all the product gets to me in time, and then I can ship it off to you in time as well after I prepare your packets. But in the case of this kit, everything you need comes right in the kit. And I'd be delighted if you'd like to join us for that class. And again, you can find all the online classes at juliescraftaddict.com. And also, I have a class coming up with timeless arrangements. Now, this set is one I saw in the catalog and didn't really think anything of. It didn't really inspire me until my tutorial bundle group and I started working with it. And you know what? I've used it for so many different projects, and I really, really like it. It's so versatile. It's got many, many sentiments for different occasions. And we're going to be using it in a simple stamping class where we'll make 4 cards. And we'll be using this beautiful paper. So it's got all these lovely florals, but then all kinds of other things. So, whoops, that's upside down. So we've got letters like a typewriter, we've got abstract prints, we have another abstract there, we've got pretzels even, these beautiful daisies. And then there's also another floral here. I'll just show you a few more. These swans, I really like the swans. And then another completely different floral, and these strawberries. So they're really nice summery prints. And they're all using very different colors, and so it's a really nice set of papers to work with. And we'll be making 4 simple stamping cards for that. And again, just find all the details on www.juliescraftaddict.com. And also, if you had seen my classes previous to today, if you'd seen them advertised at Julie's Craft Addict on Facebook or on my website, please note that I've extended the deadline through to the 25th of June to register. And that's simply because my parcel got delayed, and it went all around the USA, and then it got misfiled when it came across the border into Canada. So I still haven't got it, and I can't actually make my samples for this class or for my other class I'm just going to tell you about. So I'm going to try to get those samples made as soon as I can. The parcel's supposed to be here tomorrow, and then I will be happy to post them so you'll be able to see a sample of the kind of cards we're going to make. Oh, good morning to you too, Kathy Jean from Alberta. All right, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us today. And hi, Ruby as well. Perfect. We've got some people watching today. That's great. Everybody's schedule's different, so you never know how many people will be on at the same time. But you can always catch me on replay too. And the final class that I'm offering it's called Let's Go Shopping. and I love this paper. When I saw it, I thought I have to do a class with this. So I think we'll probably be doing some cards where we cut out these beautiful boutiques. Look at the little bookstore here. Isn't that cute? I would never get out of that bookstore. We recently went on a holiday to New Hampshire, and guess what we ended up bringing back the most of? Books. Yeah, it was not a good idea to go in that really great bookstore. We spent a lot of our money right there. So all kinds of little boutiques. And then you have some other prints as well. And here's some clothing shops. There's a nice art and craft shop. And then there's also some bakery items. And look at these cute little ones. So you got a little bit of everything on that page. And then a bakery page. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I wish I could show you some samples. But again, my stamp set and my dies and all the supplies, except for the paper, are still stuck somewhere between Ontario and here. So hopefully tomorrow they'll come in and I'll make those samples just as soon as I can for you. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, I agree, Ruby. I really like those. I think they're so fun. All right, so that is all the news, and that was lots of news. So let's go on to our project now. So I gotta bring all my supplies back here. So here's our sample card once again, if you haven't seen it yet. A really simple one for summer. I find in summer that's what I need. I need kind of simple stuff because I don't have as much time as I usually do, just because of vacation and all that sort of thing. And we're going to be using this beautiful ribbon. So this is white glittered organdy ribbon. And look at the bling in that. Isn't it pretty? I really like this ribbon. It's so nice. So the first thing we're going to actually do is we're going to color this ribbon, because you can see on the card here, it's actually colored lemon lolly. And how we're going to do that is we are going to use Stampin' Blends. So these are alcohol markers. So if you want to try this at home, you can just dig out some of your Stampin' Blends, alcohol markers, and it will work. Regular water-based markers, which is what most other markers are, will not do the same thing because they just don't adhere to the ribbon, to the fabric in the same way, just because they're water-based, but the alcohol really works on it. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm going to use the light version of Lemon Lolly, but you could use either one. They would both look really nice on it. So let's see. I'm just going to get some paper to put underneath here. Okay. So I'm just going to cut a piece of paper to put on my crafting table here. And that's the thing to know about alcohol markers, is they bleed through really, really quickly and very easily. So it's a good idea always to have a nice thick paper underneath. So this is like cardstock kind of paper that I'm going to put underneath it. And then we're just going to use the brush tip to color. So here we go. Has anybody tried this at home with your markers? You just need to use a very light hand, because if you press hard on the marker, on the ribbon or anything else, you will damage the brush tip if you press like that. So just very light hand, and we're just going to color the ribbon. So it just takes a minute, and then what you need to do is just let it dry thoroughly, because it will get all over your fingers otherwise. And because it's alcohol marker, it will stay on your fingers for a little while too. So it doesn't wash off as easily as a water-based marker would. So just be careful with that. All right, that looks pretty good. So very, very simple, easy as that. And we've got it all colored yellow. So I'm just gonna set that aside so it'll dry thoroughly for us. I'll put that in the bin because we don't need it anymore. And again, in case you missed that, that was Lemon Lolly, and I used the light version of it. But I'm also going to be posting all the supplies that I'm using and all the instructions later. So you can just check back in this post or go directly to juliescraftaddict.com and I'll have all the instructions there and a supply list for you. Okay, so now we've done that part. So let's do our die cutting next. So we're going to use this garden green paper to make a larger tag there, and then basic white cardstock to make the smaller tag. I was really glad that this project could use some garden green, because I've found in the past I've hardly ever used that color for whatever reason. It's a very pretty color, but I just haven't used it a lot, other than at Christmas time, I guess. And so I'm just going to make my tag out of that now, or my label. So this is the little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's very small. I like to take it to the cottage, which I'll be doing in a couple of weeks. And we're just going to cut, I'm just going to move some stuff on my desk. There we go. We're just going to cut our tag, and I'm going to be using these dies, which are called the Something Fancy dies. And they have all these kind of nested labels or tags, and I like that because just like on this card, you can make a smaller one to stamp on and then do a kind of a frame one on the outside to kind of emphasize it and make it look that much nicer. So that's what we're going to use here today. And you could use any of these really, but I picked this scallop edged one. So we're going to use the larger one, and you just put it with your cutting edge down. How you can tell the difference if you've never seen them before is this side is going to be smooth and this side has a ridge in it. It's not sharp or anything, but just has a ridge, and that's the cutting edge. So you put it with the cutting edge down, the smooth edge up that you can see, and you just sandwich it between the plates. There's instructions right on the plates in case you don't remember, which is great because it's easy to get distracted. At least I find it is when you're doing stuff, especially at this time of year with so much going on. It's very, very easy to get distracted. Okay, and then just as easy as that, we have our tag or our label, and it's ready to go. So let's do the white one now too. So I'm going to put this one back. And if you have dies at home and are wondering what this black thing is that I'm putting the dies on, it's actually a magnetic sheet. So it's just a magnetic sheet I bought at the dollar store. And you can stick your dies on there and they stay in place for you. So that's a little tip if you haven't seen that before. I find they just keep them all together, and it's much easier to use them in a project when they're all kind of stuck in place like that. All right, so I cut a little piece of this basic white cardstock. And I really like this basic white cardstock because it is specifically made for stamping, so it's extremely smooth and you get a very good image out of it. And I find that helps a great deal when you're doing stamping projects. One of the reasons that I've been using Stampin' Up's products for a really long time, since probably about 2007 or 8, is that I find their stamping stuff is the best. I really, really like their papers and their adhesives too. So there's our little label or tag, and that is all the die cutting that we need to do. That's it. So let's put our plates away. So I just keep mine right here in with the other plates that are for embossing and so on. And you just fold up the sides of your machine so it's very compact, it's very light, and easy to take with you. So there's that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and stamp. And if you can see here, this is kind of an interesting color, and you see it reflected in the leaves there and in the centers of those daisies. And it's actually called Wild Wheat. It's one of the new in colors that came out this year. And I have to say that when I first saw it, I thought, who would use that? It looks terrible. But actually, I'm finding that this is a very trendy color, and better than trendy, it's just really nice. It works with so many things, and I find it's one of my favorites of the new colors, and I'm using it all the time. So that just goes to show that, you know, first impressions are not always correct. That's a good lesson to keep learning over and over again. All right, so we're going to use this Wild Wheat. I'm just going to open that up here. And for a stamp set, I am using this one, which is Irresistible Blooms. And I just finished teaching a class on that, so let me show you some other ideas. One of these cards is already up on my website if you want to see how to make it, and the supply list, and the others will be going up later this week. So here's one of them from the card class. Here's another one from the card class, and this one uses the dies that you can also get as a bundle with Irresistible Blooms. And look at that, isn't that lovely detailing in there? And then all these cute leaves that you can cut out. And then this card as well. So pretty simple cards. These are all based on designs by American demonstrator Rhonda Wade. And I really liked her designs. And then I just took them kind of in my own direction, used completely different supplies, different colors. And so they look really different than her cards in the end, but it's basically the same design. So that's cool. All right, so all we have to stamp is just this one thing that says thank you. So let's get that out. It's right here. And we will go ahead and stamp that. So thank you. And we are going to ink it up. All right, just make sure the coverage is good there. And I'm gonna stamp it kind of in the middle here. All right, I'm gonna hold it down for several seconds just to make sure that the ink transfers nicely to the paper. And that's it. So very simple. All right, and then that will dry as well. And sometimes the color will change a little bit as it dries. You can see it's lightening up just a little bit already. And we'll get that onto our card. So I'll just close up my wild wheat here. Has anybody else tried wild wheat? I just think it's the nicest color. It's really, really good. So I'm going to take my block and my stamp and put those away. I like to put things away immediately so I don't lose them anywhere. It's remarkably easy to lose pieces of your crafting stuff. So I like to put it away. Okay, so from there, the rest is just assembly. So it's pretty simple, really. So we're going to take out our panels here. So I have a panel of that Fresh as a Daisy paper and a slightly larger basic white panel. And I'm just going to use my Stamp and Seal to adhere the DSP pattern paper to the white piece underneath. All right, so there we go. Very simple. Now I'm going to take out my garden green card base. I'm going to fold it over. I'll just move these other pieces out of the way. And I don't think I need a cardboard there anymore. So we're going to fold this over. I used my scoring tool to put a fold line in the middle already. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to just crease that fold. And now I have another white panel to put inside the card. So here we go. And that's just so you have something to write on. You could use a fancy pen that will write in white or gold or something, and that would be beautiful, but we don't always have those close at hand, so I like to put a little panel inside. And now what we can do is take this panel and we will use dimensionals. So that's these little hexagonal things, foam adhesive, and we'll stick that onto the card. So I really like these little dimensional things. They're one of the first things that I met when I met Stampin' Up, and I have to say they're one of my favorite products that they have because they're so good. They stick really hard and they don't dry out readily. In fact, I've never seen them dry out. I got a card for Christmas this year, and when I was looking at it the other day, you know, already all the pieces have fallen off because the adhesive that the person used, unfortunately, was cheap and not very good. And it just didn't stick anymore. And that's only since Christmas. But these guys should keep it stuck on for quite a long time. Okay, so now we have our interior built. We have our exterior. And now we just have to finish it up. So let's adhere our thank you. As you can see, The thank you has become much, much lighter in time. So if you stamp something and you aren't pleased with the color that it stamps immediately, just wait a few minutes, because sometimes it just has to dry a bit, and then the color will appear that you're expecting to see. So that's a little bit of a tip as well. All right, so there we go. And we're just going to stick that onto the card. So let's use a couple of those dimensionals again. And I'm just putting on 2 here, but you could put them at each corner if you want. It just is a personal preference there. I find the 2 will keep it on pretty nicely anyway, so I'm just going to use the 2. And you can sort of position it wherever your flowers dictate there. I think that looks pretty good. So now we want to make our bow and put that on. So let's see. I think we'll just cut this first. So let's cut just the end of it there. And now we have our ribbon. So I'm going to use the bunny ear method to make my bow. So this has revolutionized my bow tying. I know people either love or hate bows, so there doesn't seem to be a middle ground there, but I find the bunny ear method works really well. So here's one bunny ear made. You go down your ribbon and, whoops, and you make another bunny ear, just like that. You cross one over the other and put the first one through and pull like you would with a normal bow. And that gives you a middle piece you can hold on to adjust the size of your bow as much as you like. And then you can pull it tight when you're satisfied. And you can decide which side looks better. I think that side will be better because these will lie flat. And then you can put it on your card. So I'm just going to trim it a bit here first. Do I need it trimmed over there? Yeah, just a little, I think. Is that good? No, maybe a little more. Whoops, flip my card right out of the way. There we go. And you may have noticed I was tying it on the spool, and that's something that I almost always do because I find that, oh, actually I didn't this time, did I? No, I usually tie it on the spool, but this time I couldn't because I had to cut it off to get rid of the yellow, and I'm just going to get rid of that last little bit of yellow. But usually I tie on the spool because when you tie on the spool of ribbon, you don't waste very much. Now this one, I kind of knew how much I needed for that. So again, I didn't waste very much on this either because I'd already practiced it before. But I find it's helpful to tie on the spool. So here is our mini glue dot pack. I'm just going to press it onto the mini glue dot and pick it up. And then I will put it down here. Oh, there's a little tiny piece of that ribbon. I'll just move that. So you could trim your bow as small as you want or make it as large as you want. I think I like it kind of that size. That looks good. And you'll see here that I also embellished with these little guys here. And I think they really make the card, actually. I mean, this looks nice, but the embellishments really make it sing. And these embellishments are a carryover from the previous catalog, and I'm glad they brought them back. They're called the Glossy Dots Assortment. They come in Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, and Gorgeous Grape. And I used the Daffodil Delight. Now, even though I don't know if there is actually Daffodil Delight, that might be Daffodil Delight there in the card, it just works really well. So what did I do on this one? Okay, so they come in 3 sizes. I put a medium one, a small one, and then a large one. And I used that triangle to bring your eye right through the center of the card so that you see the parts that are important. And I will do that again. Okay, so let's put this one down here first. And it just makes it shine because they're so shiny, those little things. And let's see, where do we want to put it this time? So I've taken up space with my bow. So maybe we'll put them over there and kind of do it like that. Maybe I'll move that over just a little. Yeah, so I've got the 2 there and 1 there, and that is the end of our card, friends. So you can see how simple this is. Just a little tiny bit of die cutting, 1 little bit of stamping, and the rest is really just gluing, except for coloring your ribbon, which is super simple as well. So thank you very much for joining me today to see my project. I'll be posting all the instructions and the supply list, like I mentioned, right after I'm done this video. And here's where you'll find them, www.juliescraftaddict.com, or simply just come back to this post in Julie's Craft Attic on Facebook, and all the links will be there for you to see. So thanks very much once again, and have a wonderfully crafty week. Bye for now.